MMAT has fallen by 3% on Thursday's trading session, reaching a pre-market price of $1.83 at the time of making this video. So should you buy the stock? Keep watching as we go through our calculations of the stock's future as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. Just 7 days are left until brokerages start forcibly closing sell positions, bringing crazy buy volumes, which many believe can send the stock flying towards $20 or even $50 price levels. But is this true? MMAT reaching $50 would require the market cap going from $662 million to about $30 billion, which sounds rather unreal. However, a $20 price would require it to go up by about 11x, reaching a capitalization of $7 billion, which seems more believable. In our opinion, a key point in this squeeze will be accepting the truth instead of creating fake hype, as unrealistic price targets will only create fear of missing out for less risk-tolerant investors, lowering the company's reputation in the long term. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So now that we're in the 1-day chart for MMAT, as you guys can see right here, we'll first analyze the 1-day chart, then the 1-hour chart, and to end it off, we'll get to the 5-minute chart. But right off the bat, we can see that currently we're at the price of $1.92. We're up by about 4.6%, right? We're making a pretty good pattern. Now, if we can follow this up on Monday with another green candle, what's going to happen is that we will invalidate this red candle that we got over here, because of course we did get a green pin bar candle, and we'll get another green candle on Monday's trading session. So once that is done, another bull run might be in place. Now, at the same time, I have some things to address. First up, now you can skip this part for like a minute if you're not interested in this, and if you did not watch my previous analysis. But if you did, I'd like to, kind of, what do you call this? I'd like to reply to a few people. Now we're getting a lot, I was getting a lot of comments about how my price target was way too low, and people were even saying things like the stock will go up to $100, this dollars, that dollars, right? I just want to let you guys know that my job is not to hype up any stock, right? My job, or well, I won't even call my job, right? It's just the way I do things, right? If I hype up a stock way too much, people will eventually get bored of that stock, because once, I say that, hey, the stock will go up to $100, and people are thinking that, oh wow, it's going to go to $100. If it does not go to $100, people will eventually get bored of that stock, right? And it would hurt the company more than do any good. And that is why I don't like to set up hyped up targets. If I say that, hey, it's going to go to $5 and it goes to $10, people are going to be like, hey, it even beat the price targets by this much, and they're going to be happy, right? That's why I, try to set very realistic and achievable, and even, I always use these price targets that I set for myself. And at the end of the video, that's always why I say that I'm not a financial advisor and you should always do your own research, because of course our researchers, our opinions won't match, because I'm always trying to be a bit more gentle, a bit more held back. I always try to hold back a bit in terms of my price targets, because once they do not get hit, that company's reputation is going to go down, right? And that's definitely not a thing that I want to do. And because of course, investors are going to suffer directly from that. So I hope that you know why I always give out realistic and not that crazy hyped up price targets, right? This is the reason. Now coming back to the analysis, well, we can see that we've been consolidating this zone since a long time, right? We've been sideways for at least 2 or 3 weeks, pretty much 2 weeks, right? So is this a bad sign? Definitely not. We can see that the volumes did decrease along with the price. So that shows us that the bearish sentiment is not that great. It's just a small pullback. And now I believe that it actually might be the time that the stock enters the oversold category, right? Once it does, of course, now if we look at the volumes first up, 6 million shares yesterday, and 1 million shares today, and it's only been 30 minutes. But of course, we get most of the volumes in the first 1 hour of the market. So that kind of explains it. But at the same time, I do hope that we kind of recover on these volumes. And that's why I'm hoping that on Monday, or, as we close in on the 9th and 12th December dates, we will hopefully start to get better volumes. And, I'm pretty certain, of course, not financial advice, but I'm pretty certain that on 9th December, we are going to get some crazy volume on MMAT. Of course, MMTLP is where the real stuff lies right now, But for those who want to invest long term, MMAT is the way to go, right? MMTLP, of course, is a great opportunity, and that's why I made my previous video on MMTLP. So you can check that out on, a potential opportunity of 5 to 15x growth numbers. But at the same time, for long term investors, metamaterials in itself, they do need to work a lot on their fundamentals. But in case that they do, right, hopefully the stock can get into a much better place, right? And we're talking about a period of like 2 or 3 or 5 years, right? Not 6 months or 8 months. That's not considered long term. That's pretty much positional trading, right? So, of course, with that, am I bullish on the stock? Of course, for the short term, most definitely yes. In the long term, well, if they turn out to, kind of do things that way, if they try to fix their fundamentals, their finances, because of course, if we look over here on the financial statements, right, we can see that they're always, they've always missed their earnings reports, and they've always kind of fallen down on the profit margins as well. And recently, they fell down on the profit margins by by a pretty large number, and the profit margin was a negative 1000%. So that's of course not a great thing. But of course, if we can fix that in the long term as they get more liquidity, right, we'll hopefully go up. Now, at the same time, if we want to analyze the stock in a bit more detail, we'll have to jump on into the 1 hour chart. So let's do that. And now that we're in the 1 hour chart, we can see that, this is the only thing that we need to notice. Yesterday, we got some pretty good volume, right? I won't exactly call it good volume. Now, this volume is pretty much unaccounted. It's not that accurate, so we'll close that off. But we can see that we did hit a double top pretty much around 1.93, and that's almost the zone that we got resisted over here as well. So that's a good resistance. And we do have a support, a pretty strong one around 1.8. So that's again good. We do have another support around 1.79, 1.78. So let's mark that as well. We have another resistance and support at 1.86, right? So these levels are important. You can mark them on your own charts as well. There's another level around 1.9 or 1.91 as well. Pretty much just the $1.9 level should be enough, right? That's psychological. And over here, we did score a level of pretty much $2. So that's again psychological. Now, if you ask me what's going to happen today, in my opinion, well, I don't think that we'll be getting great volumes today, right? I'm hoping that we do get them after Monday because, of course, that's when the big day will approach. But at the same time, currently, I think that we'll get some low volumes. And after this, we'll just fall, kind of hover in here, maybe fall down a bit. We'll probably end this day off green because the market has mixed reactions to the job reports that recently came out, right? The November job reports. And of course, at the same time, if we want to analyze the stock in a much more detailed way, we'll have to jump on into the 5-minute chart. So let's do that. And now that we're in the 5-minute chart, we can see that yesterday we did not get that great of a volume, right? The volumes were pretty, kind of dry. And of course, we can see that we did get a good price action though. We did get some consolidation over here, right? The market went sideways for a bit. And after that, of course, small bull trend kind of got reversed around this resistance at 1.94, right? After that, of course, we fell down. Pre-market, pretty volatile, right? After that, of course, we can see that we did get a pin bar candle over here. And well, we did get some crazy volume over here when the stock fell down. So that must be a big sell order. That says 11,000 volume, but I personally think it must be more because, of course, as I already told you, this volume indicator does mess up sometimes. So it's not all that reliable for the 5-minute, 1 hour, or the shorter term charts. And at the current period, we can see that we did get somewhat of a reversal pattern, right? So we might be in for a reversal on the lower side. But again, that's nothing to be worried about. It only means that you'll be able to buy the stock at a cheaper price, right? If you ask me whether I'm buying, of course I will be, right? I won't call it a once in a lifetime opportunity, but it's a once in a month opportunity pretty much, right? Or rather once in 3 months, once in 6 months. You rarely get such opportunities where you can get a 2x or 3x return in a single month. But of course, at the same time, you do have to consider the dry volumes because, if you were to come up, let's say there's a guy named Ricky, and Ricky comes up and he's like, hey, I want to put $1 million into the stock. Well, of course, because of the volumes, he won't be able to do that. And even if he does buy up $1 million worth of the stock, once he sells it, First up, the sell order won't go through in one go, and secondly, of course, the market will be kind of shaken up before, or rather after, his order is placed. And as he continues to sell $1 million worth of shares, the stocks will go down, right? But then again, that's just an example to make you understand how volumes work. But I'm pretty sure you already know that. So let's quickly come on onto our main topic, which is the market cap, right? Now consider this pretty strongly when you're thinking of a price target for any stock. How high can the market cap go? If you ask me, for meta materials, I don't really see the market cap going any higher than $7 billion or $10 billion in that matter, right? Because of course the company has not fixed their fundamentals yet. Does that mean I'm a hater? No, I of course don't hate on any stocks. My sole goal, my entire goal to be in the market is of course to make money. And if you ask any good investor what his goal is, well, it's to make money, right? They're not obsessed with any company, and that's what I will advise you guys to do as well. Never be obsessed with any company, right? They're not a plushie or a toy that you must be obsessed with. It's a company, a derivative that's supposed to make you money, right? It's a way to make money. So, kind of treat it like one and use logic over emotion. So logically, I really don't think that MMAT can go above 15 or $20. Of course, it might, right? I could be wrong, but I don't see it going up, above 15 or $20, or rather a 7 or $10 billion market cap, right? At the same time, a realistic price target, I already told you that I will only aim for 5 or at max $8. But still, I believe that even at $5, it would be a splendid return, right? Currently, the price is $1.92. We'll get almost a 2.5x return at my $5 price target, and I personally am satisfied with that. If you want greater returns on a short-term trade, of course, MMTLP, go that way. We already discussed why people believe that the price, once the company gets an asset takeover, the price might get to $40 to $120 per share, right? Once the company goes private, shareholders might get compensated that way by getting $40 to $120 per share. And even that way, I'm kind of hoping for around $80 to $100 per share, right? So that would give like a 10 to 12x return on MMTLP. Again, some people are hoping for like crazy numbers, like $1,000 or something, and that's definitely not going to happen, right? That's just not how companies work. Companies are not there solely to make you money based off of your emotions. Companies are there to actually deliver value and make money off of that. But of course, at the same time, in case that MMTLP reaches $1,000, remember that this most definitely is not financial advice, and you should always do your own research before you trade. If, however, you enjoyed my analysis, be sure to hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, be sure to hit the dislike button. You can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.